We're here on San Bernardino Mountain looking at the vegetation communities and the distribution of plants. There, that's old Buckeye Canyon, and you can see a lighter green going to the brown of the grasslands. They're kind of on the outsides, on the ridges, where it's a little bit less water. This year we're coming around into Owl Canyon. You can see deep in the canyons where the bigger trees grow, that's where there's a little bit more water. Down lowlands would be the willows, and as it goes higher is oak trees. And in between, shrubs. Coastal sage scrub and things like that. There's a rock quarry where rocks quarried to make roads mixed with asphalt. And there in those upper steps, colonized by rock-loving plants. Like sedums, dudleas, anything else that can get up in those little crevices and grow. This is a little bit closer look. Here's the grasslands. And there's the oak-studded canyons. And all the shrubs following the path of the water, coming down into willows, and then the lowlands of rushes. And the grasslands are known for things like lupins, and known for bulbs. And of course the grasslands are known for the grasses, whether that be annual plants brought for the cows like oats, or grasses like this perennial bunch grass, purple needle grass, which was here with the deer and the elk. In the shrubland, you just got bunches of bushes, like coyote bush. Oh. Poison oak, bushes of sticky monkey flower, bushes of toyon, and blackberries crawling in between, tiling it all together. Popping up here and there, California clematis. Walking up into these hills is like going back in time. And when you look back, you can see the traces of human activities and the marks we've left on the land. Over there in the distance, you see Bayview Hill. Behind that, there used to be Candlestick Park, where the 49ers and the Giants used to play. And off to the right of that, going south, that's San Francisco Bay, the Hunters Point Shipyard, and the East Bay Hills, way far beyond. Fire is a force that we live with here in California. Like other places with Mediterranean climate, whether it be like South Africa or Australia or Chile, it's just wet enough to grow a lot of vegetation in the winter or spring months, but then dry and hot enough in the summertime that wildfires are common. Over millennium and millennium, plants have gotten used to this regime and adapted to it. The fire serves a number of useful functions. In dense, shady woods, it serves to clean it all out so that the sun can shine down again. All that nutrient ash falls to the ground, so it's got an open canopy and you got all these seeds ready to germinate. A number of the plants have adapted to this fire regime, and so after the fire passes through, right off of their base, they stump sprout out readily. This happens within 2-3 weeks. In many ways, the fire does what a good gardener or a good farmer does. That's to say, they clear the land out and renew nature and help her to grow again. This fire came through pretty hot. This scarred the outside of this big old coast live oak, but didn't kill it. In a sunlit opening, you got the Douglas iris, but this time paired with the Indian paintbrushes. Plants are like people. They got preferences. Long-petaled iris like to just hang out by themselves singly. Here and there, here and there, here and there. Don't like to hang out in groups and clumps like that Douglas iris. Oftentimes when you design a garden, you gotta draw a plan view of the yard. And this is kind of like a bird's eye view of the space, so you could tell you its dimensions. And in this case, we'll just draw a tiny little San Francisco backyard, maybe 25 feet by 40 feet wide. This here at the bottom is the house, and then you have the yard. And oftentimes it starts off as a clean slate. And the job that you have as a designer then is to imagine what it'll look like in 5 years and 10 years at this ideal state they call maturity, when everything's mature and coming into its own. So you might put in a little brown patio or a deck, and you're going to surround the whole garden full of plants. In the sunny corner, you might put a big old tree, lemon tree. So we're just going to draw the plants just as circles. You can get fancier with the textures and outlines. We'll just do a quick, maybe another one, another tree back here. Here close to where everybody's hanging out, having fun by the patio. Put a little cluster of plants all connected. Maybe over here a bunch of little ones too, scattered in groups of threes. And a little center dot to denote where it's supposed to be placed in the landscape. And this part here, we'll put in some pretty looking shrubs here too. And so this is also supposed to be a scaled plan. So this is at some point in the future when the plants are growing and filled in and everything's looking good. The general feeling then is, if this is time, and these are your plants, you're going to do the install. So you get installed, the plants are going to grow, 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 until they get to this state of maturity, the state of perfection, the state of where it becomes static. And then you do the maintenance on it. Try to keep it at that state. This is often the general feeling that contractors have of the landscape. And clients also have this expectation of the way nature is supposed to behave. Then comes the construction and the installation of a garden. And the patio gets put in. And all the plants too. So in some cases, maybe you got 15 gallons, sometimes 5 gallon. Sometimes 4-inch pots, sometimes 1 gallons. So the stuff actually goes in about that size. And maybe you put chips all in there. And the client's going, what? This is what it's supposed to look like? Because it looks all bare. It looks nothing like that plan that you had showed them before, because you didn't account for the passage of time. And you say, don't worry about it. Stuff will grow in. Just give it some time. The thing is, as gardeners will tell you, but sometimes designers and engineers forget, the garden is a very different kind of a product compared to anything else. Because it is made up of a matrices, a mixture of all living things. You can install a kitchen cabinet or a refrigerator, but truly a plant is to be grown and cared for over time. So that lemon tree is doing all right. Come 5-6 years down the line, grow to about where it's supposed to be. But this tree here, maybe you picked a leptospermum or maybe a buddleia or something. You didn't realize that it needs more maintenance or that it grows a lot faster than it's supposed to. So all of a sudden you got this huge tree in the corner trying to shade out everybody else. Your plants that you had planted here, we'll put the patio back in. The plants that you had planted here were particularly tasty to gophers. So you lost one of them, you got another one here, but it's kind of a patchwork because some of them died. This section here of little plants, let's say it was narcissus, they grew so well. They grow so well that they started to take over this whole patch. All of a sudden, all you got is narcissus bulbs sticking up everywhere. And from the neighbor, they had planted bamboo over here and they crawled under your fence. And all of a sudden, you got all this bamboo here too that you just can't get rid of. They'll go have a talk with the neighbor. So because the garden is a collection of living things, growing and changing and interacting with nature over time, it's hard to find a complete maturation date or completion date. It's a constant work in progress. It's almost never done, and each plant's going to have to mature in its own distinct period. So looking at it over time is not going to be a straight trajectory that you're going to be able to maintain. If anything, is more something like this. Might be a loosey-goosey one, where sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't look so good. Sometimes it's got leaves and flowers, sometimes it's bare to the bone. In other cases, it's going to be even more erratic, where it goes underground. And in some cases, it'll be like you're tiny sitting on a little boat on the tsunamis passing by you, but you're in the open ocean. There's waves of stuff happening, but you're not even aware of it. So seen over a long period of time, the development, growth, and distribution of the plants in the garden is going to be subject to change. It's not going to be a straight line to a flat line trajectory. If anything, it's going to be like a wave going up and down, or it's going to be cyclical, going back and forth, spiraling, maybe out of whack, spiraling infinite, because it's never quite finished.